What importance does John Danaher have in grappling? And what is so great about him exactly? By the end of this video, we're going to see how he didn't just teach us how to grapple, he taught us how to think. We're focusing on the great innovations and discoveries that John Danaher uncovered for us all. These are the major contributions that John Danaher made to grappling. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and let's get right into this video. One of the most influential figures in the history of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has never competed a day in his life. He is a philosophy scholar from Columbia University who lives in a rash guard, walks with a limp, and speaks with the calculated precision of an Ivy League professor. This is John Danaher, the man who didn't just teach jiu-jitsu, he re-engineered it. There was a lot of debate about what John Danaher actually invented. Take the front headlock system. In the early 2000s, before the internet mapped out global grappling secrets, Danaher was working in isolation in the Renzo Gracie basement. While Milton Vieira was pioneering the anaconda choke in Brazil, Danaher independently discovered the exact same mechanics in New York. Simultaneously, he developed an inverted variation he called the inverted katagatame. He taught this submission to his student Joe D'Arce. When Joe used it to dominate the competition scene, West Coast coach Mark Lyman officially dubbed the move the D'Arce choke. His true technical contributions are his systems. First is the leg lock revolution. When he met Dean Lister and heard the now famous question, why would you ignore 50% of the human body? The modern leg lock era was born. Danaher didn't invent the heel hook, but he invented the Ashi Garami system. By this, I mean he categorized leg entanglements into a hierarchy of control, where leg locks were no longer a speed-based submission, but a control-based system. For example, there's standard Irimi Ashi Garami, there's outside Ashi, and the inside Senkaku and other forms of cross Ashi Garami as well. So students knew exactly where they were and what the goals were from each position at all times. A second innovation is the straight jacket. This is one of the most influential inventions in the modern era. Again, John did not invent the rear naked choke or the idea of trapping the arm from the back, but he did create a system for it, the straight jacket system. This method allows people who are not flexible to have a reliable path to trap their opponent's arms with their legs when they're on the back. It makes the rear naked choke significantly easier, and it drastically increases the submission rate of the students. A third innovation by John Danaher is the application of kazushi. So although John Danaher didn't invent the term kazushi, or the idea of off-balancing an opponent before you throw them, he did popularize the term kazushi for grappling. In addition to this, his major contribution regarding this is that he advocated for utilizing kazushi as a prerequisite for entering into submissions, specifically leg lock submissions, teaching us that it's far easier to submit someone if you have first broken their structural integrity. Another thing we need to cover is how good of a teacher John is. People go to John and they improve at astonishing rates. Take Nicholas Marigali and Giancarlo Bedoni. John was able to prepare them for ADCC in less than a year. He took Nicholas, a traditional gi world champion, and transformed him into a no-gi monster. He took Giancarlo Bedoni, who had known leg lock weaknesses, and coached him to an ADCC gold medal. John's greatest contribution isn't a specific technique or choke. It's language. Before him, instruction tended to be much more vague. Danaher introduced terms like wedges, internal rotations, and dilemmas to describe different scenarios and concepts for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He also taught us about the importance of dilemmas in Jiu-Jitsu. If the opponent defends the neck, they give up the arm. If they hide their heels, they give up the pass. And if they posture up out of an armbar, they leave their legs behind to be attacked. And these are just some of the examples of dilemmas in Jiu-Jitsu. John preached the maximizing approach to escapes and was willing to oppose the traditional satisfactory path of escapes. This is my favorite takeaway from John. The idea is that it takes the same amount of energy to escape into close guard as it does to escape right into a submission. As an example, when you kip to escape out of mount, you could fight to get back to neutral close guard, but John advocates to take the maximizing approach and go right into a heel hook or other offensive attacks. This one paradigm shift will help you improve drastically. I can't think of anything more significant that I learned from all of John's instructionals than the importance of gaining the skills for escapes and this idea of the maximizing approach. I got to meet John in Austin briefly, and the only thing I really got to tell him was that my favorite instructional from him was his new wave positional escapes. To be honest with you, there's probably so much more that John Danaher either invented, popularized, or systematized that I can't even keep up with. For example, I know that he's responsible for popularizing his triangle system and Kimura system as well, and God only knows what else he did out there. He is a reminder that in a sport built on physical dominance, the greatest superpower is a clear and open mind. He didn't just teach us how to grapple, he taught us how to think. He taught us to question tradition, and he's probably the greatest grappling teacher we'll ever know in our lifetime. If you're interested in watching a video about one of his students, Gordon Ryan, feel free to go and click on this video on the screen right now. Bye guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.